Hi, Taehyung lovers. Welcome back to the Taehyung Lovers channel worldwide. 3 seconds. Don't skip, because March 2026 did not come just to say hello. It came to shake things up. No teaser, no warning. Suddenly the name BTS appeared with a single title that made the world fall silent. Arirang. Within minutes, timelines exploded. Army across 5 continents turned into an ocean theories. And in the middle of that roar, one name stood quietest yet had the loudest impact, Kim Taehyung. Why did the camera linger on him the longest? Why did his transformation feel so different, raw, more fragile, more daring? And why, when the writing credits were released, was his name not on every song? And why was Jin's name not on the writing credits of the latest album release? And why are Jungkook and Suga on every album? And watch until the end so you can find the answers. This is not just a comeback. This is public psychology at play. This is about identity, about the meaning of Arirang, about 14 tracks that feel like a hidden manifesto from Hooligan to Into the Sun, about world-class producers getting involved, about speculation that split the fandom between pride and anger. And tonight, we're breaking it all down. Facts, data, strategy, and possible hidden messages that many may not have realized yet. So watch until the end, because by the end of this video, you might see Arirang 2026 in a completely different way. If you believe Kim Taehyung always has a reason behind every step he takes, press like now. Write your opinion in the comments. Agree, disagree, or maybe you have your own theory. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next chapter of this history. And don't forget, make it viral, so the world continues to see the kindness of Kim Taehyung, not only as an idol, but as an artist rewriting the narrative of his era. March 2026 arrived without warning. There was no long countdown, no layered teasers heating up the K-pop industry machine. Just one silent explosion that turned into a global roar within minutes. The name BTS appeared alongside a title heavy with meaning, Arirang. In less than 20 minutes, ARMY timelines across 5 continents transformed into a sea of theories, rapid analysis, screenshots, and digital screams that were almost unbelievable. After months of rumors that sounded like forum fairy tales, the comeback was finally real. No more whispers, no more internet myths. This is official. This is happening. The world had not fully recovered from the shock of BTS's 2026 return when an official video was suddenly released. Quiet, elegant, and devastating in its impact, the album titled Arirang 2026 was not just a music project. It arrived like a declaration of a new era. And amid the global spotlight that never dims, one name became the center of gravity in the world's conversation: Kim Taehyung. The album's opening video was designed like an art house short film. Minimal dialogue, rich in symbolism. The camera moved slowly through a dim urban landscape, then stopped at Taehyung standing alone between neon light shadows, and the echo of traditional Korean melodies reimagined in a modern way. Within minutes, the world understood. This is not an ordinary comeback. This is an artistic statement. And this is where public psychology began to be played. In Arirang 2026, Kim Taehyung took on a role far deeper than just a vocalist. He was involved in writing lyrics for one of the most emotional tracks on the album, an alternative ballad blending traditional Korean instruments with contemporary orchestral arrangements. His baritone voice, deep and trembling, became the emotional anchor of the album. Several music critics in Asia and America called Taehyung's solo part the breaking point that shook listeners. The moment when BTS's music moved beyond pop and transformed into collective poetry about identity and home. ARMY, their global fan base, immediately flooded social media. Within hours, the name Kim Taehyung topped global search rankings across multiple platforms. A clip less than 1 minute long showing a close-up of his face with an empty yet meaningful gaze went viral across continents. The world was not just watching, the world was captivated. But what truly shocked the public was his image transformation. If Taehyung was previously known for his mysterious romantic aura, this time he appeared rawer, braver, even fragile. Slightly messy dark hair, almost no smile, minimalist fashion that moved away from the luxury of previous eras. He was no longer just an idol. He was an emotional actor in a larger cultural narrative. And that change triggered extreme reactions. Some praised his aesthetic courage. Others felt they had lost the figure they once knew. This is the power of fandom psychology. When an artist changes, some fans feel tested. Industry observers called Arirang 2026 one of BTS's most ambitious moves since the peak of their global career. The album touches on themes of identity, cultural roots, and self-reflection after years on the world stage. In that context, Taehyung appears as a symbol bridging tradition and modernity between Arirang as a legendary Korean folk song and reality of a constantly moving global generation. The video for all BTS members was indeed released together, but the longest and most intense camera focus fell on Taehyung. The moment he closed his eyes at the end of the video, before the screen faded to black and the traditional instruments slowly disappeared, became the most reshared clip. Many observers called it the quietest yet loudest moment on the internet this year. The global entertainment industry was reminded once again, every time BTS moves, the world shifts with them. And every time Kim Taehyung steps forward, he carries not only his own name, but the expectations of millions waiting for more than just a song. They are waiting for an experience. But like every major chapter in BTS history, surprises never come alone. 14 track titles were released like puzzle pieces that did not yet reveal the full picture. Body to Body, Hooligan, Aliens, FYA 2.0, Number 29, Swim, Merry-Go-Round, Normal, Like Animals, They Don't Know About Us, One More Night, Please, and Into the Sun. The title stood like an unread manifesto. Hooligan sounded like a scream of rebellion. Aliens called out a metaphor of global alienation. The feeling of being an outsider even when the world chants their name. Number 29 became a numeric mystery sparking theories about dates, ages, and secret codes. Meanwhile, Swim and Into the Sun felt like a linear journey, from drowning toward the light. The visuals accompanying the Tracklist release were bold, bright red blocks, firm typography, uncompromising. This is not just an album. This is a declaration. International producers like Ryan Tedder, Diplo, Michael made it, and Kevin Parker made the global ambition even clearer. BTS did not return just to exist. They returned to reaffirm their position as architects of cross-continental pop sound. But the sharpest spotlight fell on what was not written. In the initial credentials released, it was stated that all members, RM, Suga, jhope, jimin, Jungkook, Jin, and V, were involved in the album's creative process. RM once again appeared dominant in writing several tracks, as rap line tradition often hold the lyrical foundation. However, the public quickly noticed something. Kim Taehyung's name was not listed on every song. Even more surprising, Jin's name did not appear in the circulating writing credits at the initial release. ARMY fell silent, then exploded. Does this mean Taehyung did not fully participate? Was Jin truly absent? Or is there a larger narrative strategy being played behind the scenes? In the modern music industry, the absence of a name in writing credits is not proof of absence of voice. Not every member must be listed as a writer on every song. In BTS's previous discography, credit variations are normal. Some songs are strongly driven by one or two members, while others focus on vocal and performative interpretation. Based on official information circulating in March 2026, there were no credible reports stating that V or Jin were entirely uninvolved in the album. Creative contribution can take many forms. Musical ideas, vocal direction, harmonies, even artistic decisions not always measurable in a credit column. But fandom emotion rarely moves in sync with industry logic. Social media was filled with half-joking, half-anxious lines. Does ARMY feel pranked? One fan wrote with crying emojis. The sudden release after a long wait felt like the best kind of K-drama plot twist. Unexpected, shaking, and leaving a cliffhanger. On the other hand, speculation only thickened the album's aura. If Like Animals and They Don't Know About Us are indeed subtle responses to a world constantly trying to find them, then the absence of names and credits could be read as a silent commentary on identity, control, and public perception. If Swim was chosen as a lead single about resilience against the current, then the album feels like a collective reflection on a long hiatus and the global pressure they endured. Arirang, as a title, is not random. It refers to a Korean folk song rich with history and emotion about separation, hope, and journey. Combining that traditional name with English language tracks and Western collaborators sparked new discussions about identity and representation. Some fans questioned the dominance of English. Others saw it as a natural expansion for a group long standing on the global stage. This comeback feels darker, more experimental, more self-aware. It does not ask for validation. It demands attention. The question is no longer whether BTS will return. They already have. The question is, what story are they building? Because if there is one lesson from more than a decade of BTS's journey, the world knows this. They never release anything without meaning. Every pause can be a delayed climax. Every absence can be a hidden message. March 2026 is not just a comeback month. It is a new chapter open with a giant question mark. And now the question for you. Is Arirang 2026 a declaration of artistic sovereignty or a signal that BTS is challenging their own fandom's expectations? Is Kim Taehyung's transformation a natural evolution or a hidden message we have yet to understand? And this is where we pause. But the story is not over. March 2026 arrived without warning. One name, BTS. One title, Arirang. And one figure who made the world fall silent before it exploded. Kim Taehyung. This is not just a comeback. This is not just an album. This is a new chapter open with giant question mark about transformation, about identity, about why not all names appear in the credits, about whether this is strategy or a hidden message we have not yet decoded. If you're still watching at this second, it means you are not just a viewer. You are part of the history being written. Now it's your turn to speak. Is Arirang 2026 a declaration of artistic sovereignty? Or is it the biggest test of fandom expectations? Write your opinion in the comments. Let's discuss with cool heads and big hearts, like we always do at Taehyung Lovers. Thank you for watching until the end. If you like content like this, press like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next chapter. If you don't like it, that's okay. Feel free to skip. Taehyung Lovers channel never forces, because sincerity doesn't need force. And don't forget, make it viral, so the world continues to see the kindness of Kim Taehyung, not only as an idol, but as an artist brave enough to challenge his era. This is where we stop. But believe me, this is not the end.